everybody. Wow. We're having a party.
It's a party.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
a
yeah.
party.
A party with Samantha Gooden on my left. I am so excited to have you here, my dear. Hey, good evening, everybody. This is so, oh, wait a minute. I forgot my microphone in all of this.
Do you know that we can still hear you, Judy? You're sounding really, really good.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Because my microphone just sort of broke down today, guys. The stand didn't want to stand anymore, so I had to help my poor microphone and take it in their hands. Anyways, welcome, 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 everybody out there in internet land, in Facebook land, all over the world. May I present you the one and only, the fantastic, the gorgeous, the beautiful Samantha Gooden.
Judy, you know, you sound like you make the best MC, right? That you, yeah, you running a show, I could imagine nonstop fun.
Well, yeah, I put on all kinds of concerts, you know, with my students, and yeah, we just have a ball. And I, of course, have to introduce them and talk about them and tell them how wonderful they are, and you know. So, Miss Samantha Gooden, please, please, please give us the pleasure of telling us about you. Where were you born? Where do you live? What's going on?
Okay. Well, you know what, Judy, thank you so much for being here. Like I was telling you just before coming on here, it means so much to me to be with you because I have not discovered that many places where as creatives, we get to just really express ourselves and talk about our journey without feeling pressured. I feel like this is a really safe space. So it's a safe space to tell you that I was born in England. And I was born to, so I was born to Jamaican parents who actually met each other there in England. And at the time, I was born in Birmingham, but you will never ever hear my Brummie accent.
You mean you were in Birmingham, England?
I was.
Do you know that I was in Birmingham about 4 years ago to do my Louise Hay motivational coaching training? I was there. I did a training. Yeah, in Birmingham, in England, of all places.
Yep. That's exactly my birthplace. That's
wow.
But because my parents are Jamaican, we moved to Jamaica when I was about 13. And ever since then, I have been living in multiple Caribbean countries. So from Jamaica to Trinidad to St. Lucia, Barbados is where I call my home right now.
Oh, you're kidding. You live in the Barbados? Oh, I'm coming. Oh my God, winter's coming here. I'm on my way.
So there are so many snowbirds, right? Especially from Canada that love Barbados.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, what brought you to the Barbados?
Well, you know, it was actually work. So I worked as a marketing director over 15 different markets, and their head office was in Barbados. So pretty much I didn't have very much of a choice. Even though I lived in Trinidad when they headhunted me, they told me you better get to Barbados or else. So I did it. I've been there now. Wow, it's over 5 years. Wow, hold on. Probably about, it's 6 years.
Oh,
it's 7 years.
Amazing. And which city?
Well, in Barbados, there's only one capital, and then we have several parishes. So I'm in Christchurch. So Christchurch. Christchurch is where we have what the city or the capital is, which is Bridgetown.
Okay. Because that name that you just said is also over around Australia area, Christchurch, right?
Yes.
But that's not the Christchurch we're talking about.
No. And you know what? That's thanks to the British. Barbados is considered, and probably, let me say, was considered to be one of the jewels of the British crown at the time. So, you know, when it came to naming, there are many places that you'll go in Barbados and you will think, oh my goodness, am I in England? And it's just because a lot of places were named the same way.
Absolutely. It was part of the of the British Commonwealth, right?
Yes.
Like Bermuda was.
Yes.
Exactly. I was in Bermuda. I performed in Bermuda. I love Bermuda. I almost got married there.
Too. I love Bermuda too. I love Bermuda not just for the architecture, but because it's in the mid-Atlantic, you get enough of a twist, right, of the hot and the cold, and it's on the caldera of a volcano, so the water is beautiful. Don't get me started about
okay, all right. This is amazing. You're born in Birmingham. You are now living in Barbados, and your parents were a Jamaican. So you've got that music in your blood, right? So tell me about that. How did you let me see. I got to get my notes here, guys, because I am absolutely notorious for getting off track. So how did you get started, sweetheart, with your singing?
Okay, so in Jamaica, we would say I've been singing since my eye down my knee, which just means that ever since my eyes were where my knees are right now, I've been singing as long as that.
Okay.
So my mother had me in Sunday school really, really early, and she says I started talking before I was 2 years old, and I was singing songs since then. So she just put me up on stage to just sing.
Sounds like thank you for the music. Yeah.
And then I used to get my friends together in our backyard, and we used to have these little summer concerts, right? So I actually learned to play the cello and the recorder, and cello and recorder were my primary, my primary instruments. So we would bring all of our instruments into the backyard and get some of my friends from the neighborhood, and we would just do summer concerts with our favorite songs.
Right. We used to do that when I was a kid too. And every street corner, there was some kind of orange crate boxes that we would get up in front of a garage, and we put on shows. I remember my first song that I sang. I think I was like 6 years old. Que sera, sera. I got up in those orange crates and started singing that song. I'll never forget that. That's what we used to do when we were young. You know, there was no internet, no nothing like that. We had to be creative and have our clubs and whatever. Yeah, great. Tell me more.
No, but it was just so much fun. So when I go back and I look, so I remember having my first official diary when I was 9 years old. But even before that, I was always writing poetry and sometimes.
Oh, aren't you an amazing child?
Yeah, songs to poems. So I just always loved it. And then when I was 11 or 12, when I first went to secondary school, it was Lordswood Girls' School, won't forget.
What was that? A girls' school?
It's a girls' school. Lordswood Girls' School is what it was called.
Oh, okay.
At that time, there was an audition for what was going to be my first major play. So we were in music class, and at the time, I'm really kind of shy. You may not really believe it, but I'm really kind of shy.
Yeah, me too.
The teacher in the class asked us to sing our favorite song. And so when they came around to me, I opened my mouth and did, my goodness, what was my favorite song at the time? Okay. Give me one moment in time. And so I started singing it, and the entire class hushed. And the more that the class hushed, the more my heart started racing. And it went more and more and more. And when I finished, I got applause. Yeah. You know, the teacher came over and everything. Yeah. That's when I realized, okay, maybe there's a little bit more. But I didn't work much on it until I got to Jamaica. Started entering competitions with my school, got medals at the national level. And I got a scholarship, would you believe it, to Edmund Manley School of Music. But because, Judy, I just didn't understand the power of the gift. And I really was brought up in a community that emphasized academics. So I didn't go to music school. You know, thing in the summer. I didn't go to music school. I focused on my love for the sciences. Not
Mm-hmm.
music. So you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah. So
whatever.
did you have any formal education as a singer? Or you just sort of a
Yes,
natural talent?
I really am natural talent. The good thing is that I've met many music teachers and coaches along the way. And so
Mm-hmm.
from time to time, there was a beautiful Cuban lady in Jamaica. I won't forget, I was completely hoarse. And within 30 minutes of working with her, she had my voice back. I, you know,
Mm.
so I've met individuals like that who have given me this, you know, help in these punctuated moments. But to say that I've gone through a structured program, no. But I mean, everything from singing on really large choirs where you have to learn sight reading and
Mm.
you know the basics of a music and sheet music. Yeah, that's as much as I've done.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. You know what? That's going to be really, really inspiring for a lot of the singers here in this group, because a lot of them feel they're not good enough and they have to, have to study more and they have to do this and they'll never get there. And so this is really inspiring that you have not had any formal education and you are still a Grammy Award nominee.
So, you know, I just want to speak to that because I think as creatives, when we are giving from our hearts, right, that's the thing about singing and artistry.
Right.
It feels as if we're putting ourselves out there every single time, right?
Yeah,
It's an extremely vulnerable place to be, extremely vulnerable place to be. So I
absolutely.
understand the way that any singer would feel when you go out and you just think you're not good enough because you haven't studied enough. But imagine the
Mm.
converse is also true. Me feeling as if I'm not good enough because I haven't studied at all, or maybe I don't know the best vocal technique. And what happens for me, Judy, I don't know if some of your singers can speak to this. Sometimes I will hear the notes I'm supposed to sing before I sing them.
Absolutely. That's the way it's supposed to be.
So, but sometimes I get so nervous, I'm not sure that I can make it sound the way it already sounds in my head, right? So the entire experience can be nerve-wracking unless you trust yourself and trust the talent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is I think uh, the biggest thing that people have to overcome is to realize, you've got to let it out. If it's going to be wrong, make it nice, big and fat wrong, and only is when you do that are you going to find out if those were the right notes that you wanted to sing. Now, Dizzy Gillespie, do you know Dizzy Gillespie? I was on tour with him.
Wow!
Yeah, I was very, very lucky. I was on tour with him and all of the musicians that worked with him together. We were all over Europe and with Václav Havel and Raisa Gorbachev as the opener for our concerts. And this was amazing. Anyways, he was my mentor. And I would be all over. He'd call me all the time when he's here and he'd say, how you doing with that song? And I have to sing it for him over the phone, right? But he used to say to me, Judy, if you make a mistake, don't hold it too long.
I love it. And you know, the thing is, right, only we know that we've made a mistake. Like, unless you've gone totally off key.
Nobody knows it. Yes,
Exactly.
this is it. This is it, people. People out there in Facebook land, in my group, listen to this, because we think, we have to be perfect when we're on stage, and we don't realize. I was like that in the beginning. I thought, geez, everybody's going to hear that I made a mistake, or I did something. The only people that hear you are the musicians, and they just sort of chuckle and they hear it, of course, but nobody in the audience, because they're not real. There's hardly any musicians in the audience. The only thing we were afraid of were the jazz police. Do you know who they are?
No, we're the jazz police.
The jazz police were the musicians who would come by, like who were real musicians, to find, yeah, she did that wrong. No, did you hear that? That tone was too flat, or this or that. That's the jazz police. Yeah, we have that here in Germany, the jazz police, and now we make a joke about it. No, they're not really police. They're just people. Well, you were looking like,
So do they do this after your performance? Do they do it during your
no,
performance?
they do it in front and when you're on stage, and then they tussle with somebody, and you have to really have a great deal of self-confidence and say, fuck you guys, I am number one, right? Yeah, and this is what I teach my students, right? I think everything else you can learn, like, the technique, but the most important thing is to believe in yourself and to allow yourself to make mistakes, to allow yourself just to open up your voice and let it out. You never know if it's going to be the right note, or if it's going to be the note you wanted, or whether you're going to hit that higher note that you wanted to hit. You never know until you try. So this is the biggest thing, is people overcoming fear of not being good enough, right?
So I think what is most comforting is that everyone feels fear. And
Everybody, it doesn't matter what a profession.
And then in order for us to truly be fearless, it is by facing fear. So I
Exactly.
have faced imposter syndrome a lot of the time, especially when it comes to my music, because I felt as if sometimes my voice was bigger than me. Sometimes I felt as if people loved my voice. And I was afraid that they would find out that I wasn't as great as my voice. Maybe they didn't like me. Right. And I lived like that a whole lot of times. So sometimes I'd
Yeah.
actually stop myself from singing and letting people know that I could sing because I was so afraid. Like so
Yes,
afraid.
yes, yes, yes,
But
yes, yes.
I keep coming back to this, it's our honor and our respect for our gift and the way that we share it, which
Mm-hmm.
allows us to get over the fear.
Yeah.
And the more that you do it and the more that you share, it's the person who stops you at the end of a performance and says, oh my goodness, that was so beautiful.
Right.
And when you can
That's
leave that,
right. That's the thing you have to concentrate. Actually, you shouldn't even concentrate on that. You should just concentrate on giving when you're on stage. That's my opinion. Because if you're thinking of getting the what do you call that? The audience. I
yes.
can't speak English anymore.
The applause. I love it.
Exactly, the applause. If you're singing for the applause, you may get kind of disappointed. But if you're singing to touch people's hearts, and then if something comes up, then people come to you and say, "Oh, that was wonderful," or they've got tears in their eyes, and you really touched my heart. That is more or less the icing on the cake. But I think it's really important for singers to realize we're not we're not really in this for us. I mean, really, we are in this because it gives us joy, and it gives us the greatest feeling of having love inside of us, where with this passion inside. But in the end, we're in it to make other people happy. Singing is about giving. Singing is about um, making other people happy. And I think that's the best. The best when I hear a singer sing, I either feel immediately, it gets me goosebumps, because that person is connected. I don't know whether you can call it this, but I call it the universe, with the power, the spirit of God, the
Yes.
spirit of the universe. And when I first heard Whitney Houston's first song, way back when, and I heard her, I think I heard her like about 3 seconds, and I thought, wow, this girl is a believer,
Yeah.
right? And yourself,
Yeah.
you can hear singers, they got excellent technique,
Yeah.
they got everything going, but they don't touch your heart, right? And what is that? What is that? This has to do with being connected to a spiritual energy. That's my opinion. What about you?
I'm 100% with you. I once again, I think this is one of the most magical things that you can actually do. As you said it, what came to me is that we love people with our voice, right? So
Right.
as vocalists, we're actually sharing love with every note, with every movement, every tone.
Absolutely.
in our voice, but we're also creating something from nothing, which therefore is a hugely spiritual thing, right? So the non-creative person is always wondering, how did you do that? How did you know where to go? How did you know to make it sound like that? And for us, we're like, I didn't even think about it. I just did it.
Exactly, exactly. You get guided. And I think this is also in our business. Now, I want you to come into the business point very soon. Even in our business, we feel, at least I feel, once you're in doing something, this is for our singers who think, oh, I'm never going to get there. Like I've got such a long ways to go. Like my voice is cracking and my voice is this, and I'm not getting it. And I can't sing the high notes and I don't like my voice and whatever, I know this as my experience now being an entrepreneur for 2.5 years, how frustrated and how I thought, oh, I can never ever do this, and I was struggling without end. But then I started to realize, actually we're not doing this all by ourselves. And we're seeing this in our group, right? We're supporting each other, we're loving and helping and so on. And also, I now surrender my stuff, right? And I think, okay, I'm a believer, right? I'm a believer, and I really think that when I am connected to that spiritual energy, like Gabby Bernstein talks about, right? Then I'm not doing this all by myself. I am being guided. I am being supported. I'm being carried. I am being loved and shown the way. And if we could just trust in that and just surrender and say, you know what? Everything's going to be all right because I'm on the right track, and I know that where I want to go. Right?
I could not agree with you more. I could not agree with you more. And if the gift was given to us, then regardless of how we feel about ourselves or even how we feel about the gifts, it has already been entrusted to us to have a phenomenal impact in the world. That doesn't matter
Exactly.
whether you're singing nursery rhymes or whether you decide that you're going to sing an aria. However you choose to apply it, when we put the intention behind our voices and we sing and we speak, oh my goodness, Judy.
Yeah.
So many things can happen. I've been in situations where people who were going to commit suicide came up to me after. Those are the kind of comments that I really enjoy most. Or someone tried to get my number or wrote a note and sent it to somebody to say, I was really going to commit suicide today, but after hearing you sing, that completely changed my life. Or, what you did,
Yeah.
how you
Yeah.
sound really inspired me.
Yeah.
There's so
Yeah.
much power in our
Yeah.
voices.
Yeah.
And that's why I think our ability to see beyond just being a fragile creative to being a person who can market what we have, Judy, that is also like the next level for us. So it's more than the
Mm-hmm.
song. It's how do you take what you have, productize it, turn it into a product, and then reach your unique audience. I think when we
Yes.
can do that as artists, we're flying high.
Right. Then we as musicians, now I know I play in a pretty high level here in Germany, top level, top league. And all of my colleagues, they're all playing like, how much does a jazz musician earn in an evening? Like if we're lucky, you drive, you have to get everything set up. You have to make sure that the notes are there and you're dressed and so on. That's like about 5 or 6 hours for a job where if you're lucky, we may get 200 euros in an evening, right? And I think in New York, it's even less for the musicians there. Like they're playing for $75 or something, and that's what um, I think to myself, most of us teach also. I mean, if you're really, really lucky to become really, really famous, like Diana Krall or, yeah, yeah, love her. Love her. Canadian friend of mine. I met her before she even got famous.
Wow.
Anyways, I wanted to say one thing to the singers in our group who may not think, I'm not going to be professional, or I don't even have the desire to become professional. And I think that is just wonderful because, you know, not everybody is going to use their voice for their profession. And a lot of people come to me and say, do you think I'm good enough to sing? And I say, well, do you want to sing? Isn't it what made you come to me? I've always wanted to sing. It's always been my deepest desire. I'm always singing in the car and in the shower. And I said, well, isn't that a reason enough to sing?
Mhm.
Just because it makes you happy, right? So even if you guys out there, you're not planning on becoming professional, improving your voice and you know, singing as much and as, you know, as you can, that is a joy, and it makes you healthy. It you get all kinds of hormones. How do you call that? Set
Endorphin. Yeah, serotonin and all of them, dopamine, oxytocin,
right.
serotonin, and endorphins. Yeah.
Yeah, they all are being.
Yeah, released in you. And
Yeah,
you
right.
also feel a sense of confidence because
Yeah.
when that part of us is really firing and we're
Oh
going,
yeah. Oh yeah.
"Woo!"
When singers come to in my course, like tonight I've got a new course beginning. I know they're all going to go, I don't want to go on the microphone. No, I'm not going to sing on the microphone. By the end of the course, give me that microphone. It's my turn, right? And once they start to get up in front of those people, they're going to die a little bit. At least they think they're going to, but they're shaking and their legs are shaking. But once they have plunged into jumping off that 10-meter diving board, and they have let their voice out, that is magnifying for them, right? This is something that they will never forget, and it's overwhelming for some people. They think, wow. And everybody's clapping, yay, that was great, you know. And this is it. It really, really gives you more confidence as a person when you start to realize, hey, I have a voice and I have the right to use my voice and to say what I have to say, right? I am allowed to be heard. This is my place and my time, and it's time for me to be heard. And this is so wohltuend. I wish I could speak English. It does people so good. It warms their hearts. It makes their body feel amazing. They become more self-confident. They start to look different. They start to dress different. They start to walk different, you know. And this is what singing can do. So you don't, guys out there, you don't have to become professionals. But I think there are a lot of musicians that were already on our show here today. Leon Brooker and Louise Lungberg and Louise Leander. They were all here on the show where I coached them on the Friday coaching. You guys are going to be interested in this, what she has to say about marketing ourselves. And I am definitely interested because I want to know how to market myself. I have 6 CDs on the market, and I don't think I've made any money from any of them, you know.
So Judy, I love that you've said this because even before I had my project now, which is being considered for a Grammy. So even before that, I've done several projects which have just been, you know, they're my love children. I do them because I think as creators we should really express ourselves and share ourselves with our community. So if you're a singer now, you may be saying, okay, so how can I actually make money with my
Yeah.
music? So one of them is considering going the commercial route. Now, when I say commercial, literally being one of those people who sings commercials. So when I had run away from my voice, how I wound up coming back to it is because I started working in an advertising agency. And I started writing jingles and then doing the demos for the jingles because the agency just wasn't quite understanding it. And eventually they said, why don't you just sing them? Right? So I then wound up singing the jingles that I wrote. And that was a really great way for me to make money while I was singing. And there are several hubs that you can do that now, you know, online. There are several hubs that you can go to do that. You don't have to be all the way with Disney or one of those large production houses. Advertising agencies are always looking for the right kind of vocalists to be part of their talent band.
Wow.
Yeah, that one,
Okay.
and that gives you consistent work, because either you're the lead vocalist or you'll just be part of a chorus that is helping to develop a sound. One of the amazing things for us as vocalists is very often we can probably also speak well. So advertising agencies are always looking for voice talent too. So someone who can read a script or someone who can play a character. So you get to express another part of your creativity. And even if you have a 9 to 5, agencies book their studio time, and you have flexibility in booking that time for your lunchtime or else. Or some of them allow you to do it, what would you say, out of studio. So if you have a mini studio at home, you can record and send that into them.
Wow, I've never even thought of that. Never
Great.
even considered that.
Great.
I was too busy, you know, practicing my jazz improvisation. And
which is what would make you so great. Which I remember there was a commercial. It was actually going to be launched in the Pan American region. So that's between 15 to 20 countries, right?
Mhm.
A large campaign, but they needed somebody who had what is called a Pan American sound. So my accent, you'll notice, I don't sound English, right? Because I don't really use my English accent, and I don't sound Jamaican, although I can.
Yeah.
Right? So it's kind of it's what's called a Pan American or Pan Caribbean accent. It's one that you're not sure where the accent comes from.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
But you can still
understand. Trying to hear, is there anything English in there?
So because of that, I was able to be a part of a campaign that reached multiple countries all at the same time. But if you're from a large country or you are in Europe, there are these kinds of campaigns that are reaching niches all the time, and you could be a part of those.
Wow, that's probably going to be very interesting for some of the singers here in the group, and they'll probably be asking. I was just looking to see if anybody's watching us. Do you see anybody at all?
Let me just jump on here.
I can't see anything.
I have one of my devices here, so hold on.
They will probably, a lot of them will maybe listen to this on the replay, but that is really interesting for there's Anne Charlotte. Oh, she's
so there are no comments from what
I thought so. Okay. And I can't even see if anybody's listening to us or hearing us. But anyways, we're having a good time, and I'm sure that they will all also enjoy this with the replay. Anyways, what else have you got in your bag of goodies?
So what I wanted to share with you is what I call the marketing launch formula. And I have used this not just in my creative life, but also with artists. So most recently, there's another producer who came up with a project. He asked me to help him to market his album. His album is now also being considered for a Grammy. So I took his project through what's this marketing launch form, and it's just 5 steps. It's very simple. So step number 1 is think about your product or the idea. So okay, Anne Charlotte is here, Judy.
Oh, okay.
Yes, finally I found you. Hi, Anne.
You mean you couldn't find us, Anne Charlotte? How come? Anyways,
yes, so
we're in the group. We're in the group.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, so the product or idea, when you first think about it, our music usually has a core idea right behind it, but often connect to that idea from the messaging standpoint. So in his case, he wanted to have a project that was very urban and very relevant. So the look of the album and even how it was promoted needed to have that. So it wasn't just about music, it was the idea behind the music. So think through your project or the next thing that you want to put into market, or even yourself when you're putting yourself out there. What is the idea behind you? What is the product? And be sure that you really define that. If you know that you're a woman who connects very well with women who have been abused, for example, then the idea behind you could be freedom. So therefore the image
Mhm.
tonality of what you do, some of your songs would also be freedom based, right?
Mhm.
That energy. Then the next thing is your customer, understanding the customer pain points. This is the second part. And the customer pain point could be something as simple as, using the example that I just gave, knowing that these women are abused and are in search of freedom. Maybe you're going to think, okay, if that's the true pain, maybe when I start communicating my music, I will start saying, if you want to escape all of the challenges of your day-to-day life, then this album is for you, right? So by
Mhm.
connecting with the customer pain point, you're then able to help them see why it is that your music or what you have to offer is for them. Then step
Mhm.
number 3 is the offer. Now, this is where most of us get stuck because we think if you just put a price point on it, I know I used TuneCore for my last project. If
Oh,
you,
we're gonna talk. I have to talk to you about that later because I have to. I've just how do you call my distribution
put them
company,
out for distribution, you just cut them
and
off.
I've
Yeah,
just I don't know what you call it, canceled, gone.
yeah,
Cost me too much money, nothing
yeah,
coming in, just
yeah,
taking money. So on 1st of November, like tomorrow, like day after
that's
tomorrow,
fantastic.
I'm gone. So I have to find out about this TuneCore.
Yeah.
And one of our wonderful, amazing people in our challenge group, that Brian Menzel, is going to help me get that on, get my all of my album on is TuneCore, if TuneCore is good. So I'm going to talk to you about that.
Yeah, so TuneCore, I've had a really great experience with them. I tried CD Baby initially when they were doing. I mean, we can talk definitely about that. But
Yeah.
the next thing is the offer. So what are you going to stack things with? So I'm just going to keep with the same example that I have around women who are abused.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we said that if our message is escape the challenges of everyday life, turn on track number 1 and instantly you will be taken to Nirvana, for example, right?
Mm-hmm.
Offer that you could give is to find a very cost effective way to maybe connect with a spa, right? So when a person purchases your album, you could say to them, you get a chance to win a spa experience. Or you could choose, in the case of what I did with this project the other day, we did something very simple on Facebook where we offered one of the projects to any individual who was able to give lyrics for a particular song. So the offer is how you find very interesting ways to take your project, your music, or your idea to the next level so it resonates with your customer, especially at the point of their pain point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then the experience. So you spoke about these earlier, right? Those neuroreceptors, dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins. We can use these in helping our customers to feel much, much closer to us. So serotonin, for example, is one of those neurotransmitters that helps us to feel happy and connected. So if you had a song or when you were doing a performance, you created a serotonin experience where
Yeah.
people sang with you, right? So call and response is a great way to get serotonin going. Or
Yeah.
creating a song that has a chorus in it that people can respond to, that's another way for you to get serotonin connected.
Mm-hmm.
People will then feel more connected to you than they do to other individuals. Why? Because you make them feel happy and connected
Exactly.
to you through the music.
Right.
And if as a singer and you said it, if we make our experience personal to us and not think about who we're serving and who we are singing to, then it becomes a really internal and almost selfish process. But if we remember that we're there to serve, you can
Yeah.
use neurotransmitters to help you even greater with your service, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, and then step number 5, and this one is the one which I call tribe, knowing who follows you. So, for example, when I went and I looked at the statistics for me, I recognized that more than 60% of the people who follow me or respond to my posts are women. And they're usually women who are over 30, right? And based on that particular demographic, I now can speak in a much more relevant way to them and connect with them. Now, tribe creation can be done through Facebook groups like what you have here, can be done through emails, but you can do it on your personal profile page, where people once again feel very connected to who you are, your message, and therefore your music. So it's 5 very simple steps, but whether it's a large campaign or a small campaign, if you're able to apply all of these and literally wash, rinse, and repeat, you're going to find the marketing launch formula is going to allow you to find other avenues to make money with your music.
I question, where did you look to find these statistics? To find out who was following you?
Yeah, so, cool. So I used Instagram, and I also used my business page. So I would say to you, if you want to do some quick research right now and you already have an Insta page, turn your personal Insta page into a business Insta page. It doesn't cost anything, and it's just a few clicks that causes it to change. And once you have made that change, Instagram will start giving you the statistics on who's viewing you, when they're viewing you,
okay.
etc. And once you see all of that, then you can start targeting your messaging to those individuals.
Okay. I had heard that it was better not to make Instagram your connect it with your as a business page, because you get more reach if you keep it.
So that's Facebook, yeah. So what happens for Facebook, you don't want to connect your personal profile and your business profile. But if you want to get insights and statistics, you would use your standalone business page to get that. In the case of Instagram, you can turn your personal Instagram page into a business page to get insights. You can turn it back if you want to, but turning your Instagram page into a business page is the only way that you'll be able to get insights.
Okay. All right. Great. Yeah, those are really great points. I'm just wondering, what would you tell a singer who's just starting out, and they haven't really got let's say a young singer. We have a few here in the group, and for example, Louise Lungberg has just brought out her first single on the market. And what would you tell those singers? Where should they start? What is important for them? Because they don't have the experience yet, and maybe haven't even performed a lot, and don't even know if they are going to ever, do this professionally or not. I don't think people do know that in the beginning anyways. They're just doing because, they sing here at a birthday party. They sing maybe at an event for their work. And all of a sudden people are saying, oh, well, come on, I'd love to have you perform here, and offering them money all of a sudden. So I think that's where it all begins. But what would you tell young singers? Where should they start?
So you want to start with the basics. And the first basic is in your heart. You're going to know who you feel as if your music should connect with, and then you're going to proof test it. So if you have worked on a project, it's a single, and you have started doing performances, even if it's in a mall or a plaza, and you're performing for free, you just take note of the people who are responding to your music, right? The other place that you can do that is through any of your social media channels. Facebook has 2.4 million people on it. We also have Instagram. And doing samples of your single and seeing once again who responds to it, whether you do that a cappella or you create small snippets of it. Challenge of not having a whole lot of experience can be overcome by doing some very simple things. So given the limited attention span that individuals have right now, right? In fact, it's said that we're like goldfish, so less than 5 seconds, right? Depending between 5 to 7 seconds is how much time you're going to have to use to get attention. Start doing my thing is start going live on your Facebook page. And I know this may be nerve-wracking, but it's one of the fastest ways for you to get responses from people. asking openly, because really your audience wants to feel who you are behind the voice. They want to connect with the person behind the voice, who you are, why you do what you do. And then set up your responses from people. Make sure that you're openly, because and watch and see what's happening.
Very, very good. This is what I think. I sometimes when people come to me and they say, I want to earn my second income from singing. And I said, well, have you ever sung anywhere? No. And I thought, well, well, that's not really the right place to start. It's nice to have a goal and to say, but why don't you just start singing and find out how people react to it and find out how you feel about it, and don't make it as a goal. Like, it's not like, oh, I'm going to become a bookkeeper now, or I'm going to become a nurse. Becoming a singer is something that it's a process. It's a process of learning about who you are, what you have to offer, how people react to you, and slowly, slowly, slowly find out where you can start to to perform, even if it's in small places. And it's not like a thing, oh, I'm going to do a training, I'm going to do an education. Even the people who are going to the universities, like I was teaching at 2 universities, just people who study um, uh, voice, and they come out of college, and they don't know where to start, and they've already spent 3-4 years just learning how to sing and learning how to do all of the techniques and so on, but they have no idea about how to market themselves or where to start. And I think this is really, really sad, because when you go and you decide to study that costs money, right? I mean, thank goodness we live in Germany. Our universities don't cost anything. Isn't that amazing?
That is amazing.
Right. And so we live in a very social country. But even still, you have to live, you have to find a place to live, and so on and so forth. So 4 years of studies, and then people come out, and okay, during their studies, they're going to start playing with some of the other students, and maybe starting to perform here or there. But I know a lot of those students who don't know where or how to market themselves. And this is, I think, a really important part of being a musician, is to know how to market yourself, because most musicians, as I know it, and my colleagues are included, marketing is like, no marketing. No, we don't do marketing. We just do, we're artists. We don't do marketing.
It's all about hope. Let's have a hope strategy. Let's hope people listen to us. Let's hope.
Yeah.
Right. Perhaps that used to work once upon a time, Judy, but not anymore.
Well, nowadays that there's no record companies anymore. Yeah. And right, except for the huge companies like Sony and so on and so forth. But for generally speaking, to get a record deal is out of the question. It's over. It's overdone and out. Or would you agree with me on that?
I would, especially if you want to maintain your independence. When I first started out, Judy, I used to literally sing in a coffee shop, right? It was me and an acoustic guitarist, that was it. And we used to do that every week. And out of that, that's how we started getting more gigs.
Exactly.
It was just us, one little speaker, but it was such enjoyment. We got so much enjoyment, and a lot of the corporate opportunities we had came out of the coffee shop experience.
Yeah, too. Right. So we're getting almost to the end of our program. I would like you to ask to tell us one little bit more about your Grammy. How did that happen? That you got a nomination for a Grammy for your song.
3 steps, right? It's got consideration, nomination, and the award. And before that, you go through with the entries. And it just so happens that I wound up connecting with the same project that I was telling you about that I worked on, an individual who's a part of the Recording Academy. So I will share this with every singer that's there. If you know any member of the Recording Academy is allowed to put a project in for consideration. Now, hundreds of thousands of projects go in, but at the point of consideration, they all go through voting, and they are they're what would you say, shortlisted. And in many of the categories, you barely have 100. So it's 100 out of 1,000. That's what gets you into being considered. And I've got to tell you, Judy, I was totally surprised and totally shocked when my project got into being considered. So we're waiting for the next level, which is the nomination level. I'm in a category with a lot of really big names, and I
Wow.
won't say never, but it's it really will be something. I feel so very blessed just to know that I am being considered, because once again, as artists, as singers, we give everything so much from our heart. But I do
Right.
want to encourage anybody here, if you even want to get into the point of being considered for a Grammy, it's one, yes, doing the absolute best work that you can do. This project is my first official album, but it's really my third or fourth musical project, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
I've been going at it and really putting my money and my time into it. So that's the first thing. But then start asking and connecting with individuals who are part of the Recording Academy, because and the Recording
What
Academy
is that? Where is that?
the
Who is?
Recording Academy is in LA. That's where they're headquartered. But I'm talking about the Grammys, but there are many other musical awards that you may still qualify for, right? So is it
Mm-hmm.
the MOBOs in the UK? And there are a few others. If this is something that you want to be part of, potentially an academy, or to be awarded, or to be amongst the awarded, then start looking into what the prerequisites are for this. Just
Yeah.
say never, leave.
Yes, I think that's really, really interesting. And I congratulate you for getting this far. What are your plans for now for the future?
Okay, so I'm so happy. I'm happy and excited that you asked that. And I'm saying this here for the very first time. So I'm doing mixed music exploration right now. So I don't remember how many octaves. I think I have about 5 or 6, right? But I usually don't utilize my lower register. So I want to
I
do some
noticed that.
projects. Yes. So I want to do some projects focused in the lower register, but also using some contemporary music forms to utilize that. So I'm actually in the
Mhm.
midst of experimentation right now.
Yeah, I was actually one of the things, if you had asked me for a little bit of feedback as a vocal coach, that's one thing I would have suggested, is that you do a song or two in a lower key. And because I noticed you're using a lot of, you're really up there.
Yeah.
And I think that it would give you so much more contrast if you were to also use your chest voice in the lower area. Anyways, that was
Yes,
just,
Judy, thank you so much, because that is a confirmation for me that, so I'm always thinking, how can I improve?
yeah.
And that is like the really big area of improvement for me. I want to not just sing from the chest and sing from lower registers, but experiment with what those sounds could be and how it
Hmm.
impacts the people who are listening. So that's what I'm doing now. And hopefully
Okay.
in a few months, I'm
Do
going to
you
have a
are you performing right now? Do you have concerts?
I don't
Are you
have
concentrating more on your marketing business?
I'm concentrating more on the marketing side of things, and also voicing. So not on the commercial side, but doing commercial voicing. That's what I want to pursue right now.
So you're not earning your money with the music right now, more or less in the
In
marketing.
marketing. So
Okay.
I
Okay.
help support I support people in music, either
Mm-hmm.
with advice or with strategies. So
Okay.
That's a big part of what I do. Hence the reason I can say I know these five steps work.
Yeah, I bet you do.
Yeah, because I've
I
seen it.
want to let people know about you. Maybe some of the singers here in the group will need your help and would want to, you know, get in touch with you. So I want you to tell them how they can do that. You can, it would be great if you would put your Facebook page, your,
Yes,
you
yes,
know, your
yes, yes.
website, anything that people can find out more about what you do, because that is a very, very special niche for us musicians. And I think I definitely am going to be in touch with you.
It would be my honor to help you. How about this? Can I put my links? It's Samantha Gooden. I go by my full name everywhere, so you can find me anywhere that way.
Okay.
But the marketing launch formula, I actually put it in to a document. One of the reasons I did that especially is knowing I was coming here to talk to you, Judy, because
Oh, wow.
I think our musicians and artists need to have this step in a very simple, applicable form. So I will make the form available, the one
Great.
available, and then we can always connect on Facebook. It's like one of the greatest ways to connect. So I'll put all my info into your into the chat. Is that okay?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And I want to thank you so, 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 so very much. There's just so much I still would love to talk to you about. You are an amazing, wonderful person. First of all, as a person, I feel your heart. I feel your love for people. And I've gotten to know you a little bit through our challenge. By the way, people who don't know what I'm talking about, we are in a group. Yeah, we're sort of like in a training together, how
Yeah.
to use Facebook a little bit more for our business. And I have gotten to know this beautiful woman a little bit, just virtually. And I am just amazed at your beautiful countenance and how much you are, your heart is there to help other people. And I think that's what's missing also in our music world. We could talk about that another day. You know, we didn't even talk about that today, the struggles and tribulations of being in the music music world. I'd love to have you again, if you would be so kind as
I'm
to.
already dancing. This is my happy dance. Yes.
Ah, okay. Yeah, well, it's already 2 minutes after
Oh my
6,
goodness.
and
Yes.
this hour has just flown by. And if anybody has any questions to Samantha, please put them in the chat, and I'm sure she'll answer them at time where she's able to be here. And I would love to have any questions in the chat if I can help you in any way. So take advantage of us, people. Take advantage, like,
Yes.
you
And
know.
guess what? There's no silly question. There's no silly question, especially as singers. Sometimes all you want to know is that there's someone there for you. So I want you to know I have cried many, many nights. I have wondered, what's the point of having my talent if I can't share it? Where should I share it? How should I share it? And I think one of the reasons I'm here now is so that I can help singers and artists. Guess what? We can do this. It's simple. We just have to disassociate ourselves a little bit from our gift and start marketing our gift so more people can know. You are
Yes,
ethically bound to let more people know about who you are and what you do so you can bless them. That's why you're here.
exactly. And of course, on the other side, I am there to help people improve their voice, get their voice where they really feel comfortable. Like, you know, this is a problem. If you feel your voice isn't able to get those higher notes, so you're not able to project yet as much as you would like to. Get help people with your voices, because that's what people like myself are there for, to help you improve your voice so that you can start to really say, and wow, I am ready now to market myself. Well, you probably will never really feel ready. You'll probably think, oh, no, it's still not good enough, you know. But anyways, I just wanted to say thank you to all our listeners today. And Charlotte Stenberg, Julie Havelka. Hi, Julie. Nice to see you again.
Hi.
And Jutta Fiolka from Mallorca. Hello.
Hi, Yorka.
Yes, and thank you very much for being here with us today, and to hear all of the wonderful things that Miss Samantha Gooden has to tell us today. So take care, people. Friday, I'm going to be doing a vocal coaching with, I always forget names, with, I can't believe this. I know her name so well. Colleen Carroll! Colleen! I love her so much.
She is so amazing.
Yeah, she
Colleen
is
is amazing.
And I'm going to be doing some vocal coaching with her on her voice. This is going to be for speaking on Friday. So what were you going to say about?
I'll try to tune in. I wanted everyone who is here, whether you're on live or on the replay, please be sure that you put some hearts inside of here if you are getting value from Judy. Judy is always inside of here, always giving value. So if Judy has blessed you in any way, helped you in any way, please put some hearts, whether that's on the live or on the replay. And Judy, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, people. Put your stuff in the chat. Let's get some exchange here with everybody and help each other. That's what we're here for in this group, to help and support each other, right? So tell us what are your challenges so that we can help you. Everyone in this group. We're 430 people already in this group. Woo! All right. Enough. I have to go and teach now. And you guys take care. Have a beautiful time in the Barbados.
Bye.